let's begin. Ask the Goombas asks, who are you? What are you all about? You kind of... Now, that is a deep question. You know, normally when you start off with the questionnaires, you like have this you have like a pool, then you have the key section, you kind of stick your toe in. I think we just went off the diving board. Anyway, I am me, more or less. And what am I all about? Well, I'm a social psychologist. No, seriously, like, I'm going to college right now. It's like my senior year. Yeah, senior year. And I'm actually double majoring in psychology and sociology. Sociology, for those of you who don't know, basically, if psychology is the study of people, sociology is the study of society in general. Like, we look at impacts of, gender values and stuff on how society acts as a whole, or like how it impacts some individuals and stuff. Well, that's where like sociology and psychology kind of mix together. It's like, how does society impact the individual, and how does that make them act as a result? Like, we look at how being in a group can affect how someone acts compared to like how they are when they're alone. Things like that. Very interesting. The whole long-term goal, PhD. Cross fingers. Hoping it works out. Probably will. Otherwise, I'm just your average gaming guy who apparently runs a Tumblr blog. Oh yeah. Okay. Ask the Goombas. You're double dipping, Ask the Goombas. I got my eye on you. Ask the Goombas asks, what are your favorite movies? I am a comedy man myself, as you'd probably noticed because I run a completely ridiculous blog about a ghost that shapeshifts. But yeah, I have a preference for comedies. Off the top of my head, there's 3 movies that spring to mind that are absolute classics for me. First off, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Offbeat humor, amazing. One of those movies you can rewatch over. There's a reason why people constantly quote Monty Python. That's just because it's so quotable and it's so funny. And if you have not seen Monty Python, I'd strongly recommend seeing it, which is probably what I'm going to say for most of these movies. But second, another grand classic comedy movie, Airplane. That is just... I was shown that when I was younger, so I may be looking at this through nostalgia glasses, but it's just so funny. Like, it's a disaster parody movie from the 70s, except it's not like Disaster Movie, which was terrible, 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 terrible. It's a disaster movie done right. It's, I'd strongly recommend it. This is pretty good, pretty good. But probably currently, because this is usually a pretty shifting subject for me. Like, some days movies will like change in terms of how much I like them, but my positively favoritist movie, favoritist is a word, has got to be My Dinner with Andre. It's relatively obscure, and the whole premise is that 2 guys, one who's very exotic and goes out and travels a lot, and the other one who's very mundane and kind of like just stays with his families and some more simple things in life, sit down, and for an hour and a half, they have a dinner conversation. And that's it. But the thing is, the movies, what they talk about is so incredibly engrossing, and it just draws you in. It's like you're not even at the table. It's the first time I've seen something like that, and something that I've never seen since. I believe Roger Ebert had a quote. Someone asked him if he could think of a single movie without tropes. The only one he could think of was My Dinner with Andre. It's just off the wall, really cool. Strongly recommend it. Anon asks, what superpower do you wish you possessed? Anon, you may think of this as a cop-out of an answer, but I wish I had the power to shapeshift into anything I wanted to. Not just like DoopMun type things. So that would be cool. I mean, like, I could just shapeshift into whatever I wanted to, because theoretically, if I did that, I could get any superpower I wanted to. Kind of a bit of a cop-out answer, but oh, it'd be so cool. Hell, if I could even just shapeshift into animals, that'd be kick-ass. I'd be the star in the movie theater. Like, you know all those trained animals they have to get? Don't need them anymore. I could be all the trained animals for them. And I'd be amazing. I also like acting, so that's a thing. Anyway, definitely that. Anon asks, what's your favorite Mario game? That's kind of like with movies where it's like a constantly shifting opinion. But right now, I'm going to have to say favorite has got to be Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door. I'm a big fan of RPGs and a big fan of strategy games. And the Paper Mario series really mixes the two together in a way you don't necessarily think of. The Paper Mario games, in a lot of RPGs, you have things like critical hits or like ranges of damage. In Paper Mario, anytime you're going to land a blow, you know exactly, you have all the information, you know exactly how much damage you're going to do, probably have a good estimate of how much damage they're going to do you in return. It's very exact, it's very precise. It feels like I have extremely good control over the situation at all times because all the information is present to me. There's very little randomness in it. There's just so many elements done well. The world building is great. The fact that they take classic enemies and they make them good. you don't have this like, you don't have so much of a black and white speciesism mentality going on here. You have this mix. Some people are good, some people are bad, other people are in between. It's a good mix. Just the environments, stories, the story's pretty good. Not the best you can think of, but it threw a bunch of twists. Like the overarching stories just kind of okay, but the stories in each individual chapter usually are pretty strong, especially like when you're on the train, when you're in the Glitz Pit, when you're, that Twilight chapter. God damn, if anybody asks me why I like DoopMun, the story behind that entire chapter, fantastic. I just really like the games, like, yuck. If you could listen only to one... Oh, Anon asked, if you could only listen to one album on repeat for the rest of eternity, what would it be and why? That's a tall order because anything listened to for eternity would probably be grating on my nerves very quickly. So, Justin Bieber. No. I think I just threw up a little in my mouth. Actually, what I'd probably go for, what's may surprise some of you, is the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band album. I've always been a big fan of the Beatles, mostly because when I was raised, my parents listened to tons of classic rock and all this kick-ass music, and I always was like a huge fan of it. And that album, the music styles from all the songs are just so varied and just really cool and awesome. And cool. It's just so many good tunes. I think it has enough variety that I wouldn't be entirely tired of it for too long. I imagine eventually I'd get sick of it, but I think I'd get sick of anything if I listened to it on repeat over and over again. So, Beatles will get the slight edge here. A bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh gosh, good too. Swordmeister asks, selfie please? You know, Swordmeister, normally I wouldn't take a selfie for no man. But you know, I'd take a bolt for. And the least I can do is take a selfie. Gotta take a selfie. That'll go up soon. I have to do duck lips. It's obligatory by law. My father was arrested for failing to duck lips during a selfie. Quite horrible. 15 million years in prison. 50 life sentences. It's terrible. Anyway, Last Anon asks, favorite Mario Ask blogs? Ooh, that is a loaded question, Anon. Because there's so many blogs I like out there that I really wish I could interact with more, but since I'm just so busy with everything else and all that jazz, it's such a loaded question. I'm going to preface this by saying that there's tons of blogs which I would totally recommend. I follow a good 100 blogs or so. But these are probably the ones... I can't phrase this in the right way, so I'll just go into like, alright, five blogs I can think of off the top of my head. First, I feel obligated to throw askDoopliss on the list. Mostly because he's the one that's... she? They started the community, so I guess major props for actually doing that. I mean, that's the reason we're all here. In a very... That sounded very mystical sounding, possibly. Basically, the whole community was founded pretty much when askDoopliss first came into the scene. I remember when I first followed askDoopliss, and they were pretty much the only really popular Mario Ask blog around. And they came onto the scene with thunder. Like, the art was very, very slick. I'm not a huge fan of just digital art style. I'm a bit more of a classical artist kind of guy, but the digital art was very smooth, very well done. The comments back when askDoopliss used to answer lots of questions were pretty funny. Like, I tell you, one of the funniest gags that first started up was when askDoopliss would just like do Anon asks, but they'd capitalize them, so you knew it was them, not usually the blog on the other end though. Super funny. So I appreciate them for the writing, the art, the fact that now I greatly appreciate how now that they have tons of followers, they were smart enough to actually transition into a different role of just doing overarching plots for other blogs to follow. Because realistically, like, if it would be difficult to actually answer all these asks, I'm sure that they get constantly. So the fact that they're keeping this overarching narrative is really cool and a smart idea on their part. So I just have a strong appreciation for what they managed to do. Next, for similar reasons, Ask the Troopa? Ask Troopa? That Troopa blog with Steve. That's a similar thing, like, the asks... Well, first off, the art style is simple, really streamlined, really good, stylistic. I like it. Also, the writing's pretty good. Ask the Troopa has these really good overarching plots that go on for a while. I just wish that they'd like answer more asks, because I'd love to see a bit more, some witty responses, just like some text responses or something like that, because they're pretty funny. Kind of wish I had a chance to talk to them a bit more, but let's see. 3. Ask a Shy Guy. I think I appreciate Ask the Shy Guy's blog for 2 reasons. One, when I first started, they were one of the first people to actually engage DoopMun in RP. So that was like really cool on their part. Really got me kind of like used to the whole thing, because this is the first Ask blog I've ever done. And I think second, because I think that showed that someone who doesn't draw that much can still run a good Ask blog. Like, they can still be involved with people. Like, if you put enough effort into it and time into it, you will get attention, although attention isn't everything, of course. you can build up attention, you can build up repertoire, even if you don't have the art to back it up. Also, goddamn, funny RPs. 4's got to be Ask the Goombas. I'm not saying that just because they sent me two asks. I'm saying that because this is probably one of my favorite vlogs because it combines good writing with good stylistic drawings with it's just good. Like, I may be a little bit like my opinion may be a little bit marred here because I've actually talked to them on a few occasions, and they're pretty cool. But just objectively, the art's good, the writing's good, they've got some good overarching stories going on. You really need to get back to answering some of those asks, because last I talked to you, I have about 50 of them. So get on that, you. Bro. Anyway, so super good, super fun to interact with. Awesome. And last, for number 5, Ask Bonnie Blooper. Art's a bit rougher than the other people who actually have tablets, which I can't really blame her for. I still enjoy the art. Good writing, and on top of that, super fun to interact with. Like, oh, just super fun. Sorry, this Oswald. Only some of you will get that. But anyways, yeah. There's tons of other blogs which also I strongly appreciate and I love. They're funny, they got good writing, good drawing, but those are just the first 5 that come to mind. I love all of you. You're all amazing. You're fantastic, wonderful people. And unfortunately, I have no more asks to answer. So, if you have any more questions for me, if you ever want to talk with me, chat with me, just contact me, PM me. I'm totally up for Skyping any day of the week, as long as I'm around. I'm not on all the time, but I'd love to talk to any of you. Even if you think that, oh well, this guy doesn't want to talk to me, I barely know the guy. If, like, I don't know, if I've sent an ask or two, if we've done an RP or two, feel free to contact me. I'll know who you are. Don't be shy at all. I know some people are a little bit shy around there, but that was weird. That sounded weird. I'm just gonna wrap this up. Anyway, thanks you for watching. You're all amazing. You're fantastic people. Love this community, and you watching this right now, I love you. I love you most of all. So, catch you later, people. Take care.